It's been a really tough week for music fans, especially we're in South Korea with the sudden passing of Wheesung.
Yeah.
For those of you who might not be as familiar with him, you may know him by his stage name Realslow.
Mhm.
He had an incredible 20-year run, really shaping the sound of Korean R&B and leaving his mark on K-pop as well.
Absolutely.
And we've got a podcast episode dedicated to his memory and his music. So let's dive into his career, the details of this tragedy, and the outpouring of tributes from the music world.
Yeah, it's definitely a loss that's resonated deeply, not just for his family and those close to him, but, for fans globally.
Yeah, and I think it's so easy to get caught up in those headlines.
Yeah.
But he was more than just a name. He was a person whose music really touched a lot of lives. And his agency, Tajo Entertainment, released a statement that really highlighted the collective sorrow that everyone who knew him is feeling right now.
Yeah, and the circumstances surrounding his passing are what make it even more heartbreaking. He was found unresponsive in his apartment in Seoul at just 43 years old.
And his mother actually lived in the same building, and she was the one who found him.
Yeah.
She got worried when he didn't show up for a meeting, and,
Yeah.
and they think that despite quick response from emergency services, they pronounced him dead at the scene due to cardiac arrest.
It's so sad.
It really is. It's just a stark reminder of how fragile life can be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's important now to shift gears a bit and celebrate the incredible career that he built. I mean, his debut back in 2002 with like a movie, that album just felt like such a breath of fresh air in the Korean music scene.
It did. And it wasn't just, releasing music, it was truly innovating. Like Korean R&B at the time was very heavily influenced by American sounds, but Wheesung brought a distinct Korean flavor by incorporating traditional instruments and lyrical themes.
Yeah, and you can't forget that vocal style. I mean, that smooth, effortless delivery and those signature melismas. He was a pioneer in that sense.
Absolutely. He had a huge impact on so many singers that came after him. Think about some of the biggest names in K-pop today. They cite Wheesung as a major influence.
And he wasn't afraid to experiment, to push the boundaries of genre. I remember that collaboration he did with that indie rock band a few years back.
Yeah.
Nobody expected it, but it worked brilliantly.
Right. It shows he wasn't just a singer, he was a true artist, always looking for new ways to express himself. 6 studio albums, 6 EPs, 9 singles. It's a really impressive body of work.
It's almost surreal to think about all that right now, especially considering he was scheduled to perform a joint concert just days after his passing.
Oh, wow.
It was going to be in Daegu with soloist KCM.
Oh, yeah.
KCM is another powerhouse vocalist with a soulful style, often likened to Wheesung himself.
Right.
And the cancellation of that concert really speaks to the shock and the grief that has just reverberated throughout the entire music industry. And I think that's where the tributes become even more poignant. This wasn't just some famous figure passing away. This was a friend, this was a colleague, a mentor to so many in the industry. And you see an outpouring of grief and memories being shared online. Rapper Paltoalto, who's known for his introspective lyrics, shared a story about how Wheesung's debut single impacted him even before he started his own career.
Wow.
And it just shows how much reach Wheesung had inspiring artists even in their formative years.
That's amazing. It really is a testament to the power of music to transcend time and an experience, To think that a song released over 2 decades ago could have such a huge impact on somebody who wasn't even in the industry yet.
And it wasn't just Paltoalto either. We saw so many similar sentiments from some of the biggest names in Korean hip-hop and R&B. Sani, who's known for that witty wordplay, expressed his deep sadness and said Wheesung was a true innovator who paved the way for artists like him. Chamo, another prominent rapper, echoed that sentiment, and he highlighted how Wheesung's music pushed boundaries and really inspired him to experiment with his own sound.
It's really cool to see that.
Then you have figures like 2AM's Changmin, who comes from more of the K-pop world, and his heartfelt message talked about how Wheesung's dedication to his craft was something that he always admired.
Oh, wow.
And then producer Verbal Jint, known for his smooth beats and really insightful lyrics, his tribute was short and sweet. Thank you for the memories and the hard work.
I love that.
I think that really captures the essence of what so many people are feeling right now. It's a sense of gratitude for the music, for the impact it had on their lives, but it's also an acknowledgement of the dedication and the passion that went into creating that music.
Right. It's a good reminder that behind every song, every performance, there's a human being, pouring their heart and soul into their craft.
As we're talking about all these tributes, I keep thinking back to something Paltoalto said about how Wheesung's music helped him through a really tough time in his life. And it's a powerful reminder of the therapeutic power of music, its ability to comfort and uplift us when we need it most.
Oh, absolutely. Music has this incredible ability to connect with us on such an emotional level,
Yeah.
to offer solace and understanding in ways that words sometimes just can't.
And with Wheesung's music, there was this rawness, this vulnerability that just made it feel so personal, so relatable. I remember listening to his second album, It's Real, when I was going through a heartbreak, and I felt like he was singing directly to me, understanding my pain,
Yeah.
you know?
That's what made him such a special artist. He had this uncanny ability to tap into those universal emotions, those shared experiences that connect us all as human beings. And it's no wonder his music resonated with such a wide range of listeners.
His music really transcended genres and borders. And we talked earlier about Korean R&B and how he brought his own unique flavor to it. But, Korean R&B is more than just a genre. It's an expression of Korean identity and a fusion of traditional and contemporary influences.
That's a good point.
And you really see that in Wheesung's music. He wasn't afraid to blend genres, incorporating elements of hip-hop, soul, even traditional Korean music into his sound. He wasn't confined by any one particular style. He was constantly evolving, experimenting, pushing the boundaries of what Korean music could be.
Right.
Remember that time he collaborated with that traditional Korean percussion group?
I'm not sure.
It was so unexpected, but it worked beautifully.
Yeah,
It's like he was bridging the gap between generations, connecting the past with the present.
that's really cool.
We started this deep dive discussing the sadness of his passing, and now we're here celebrating his life and his art. It feels like the right way to honor him, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Acknowledging the loss while also celebrating the beauty of what he created. It's a complex, emotional experience for sure, but I think it's essential.
We're mourning the artist, but we're also celebrating the art, grieving the loss, but recognizing the legacy. And what a legacy it is.
Yeah, it really is multifaceted, isn't it? I mean, the music, of course, but also just the inspiration he provided to so many other artists. And we have to remember the impact he had on the Korean music industry as a whole. And, that deep connection he forged with fans all over the world.
Yeah, I think, we've focused a lot on the tributes from his peers and from fellow artists.
Yeah.
But it's also really important to acknowledge the fans. They're the ones who are mourning too. And their love and support is such a testament to how deeply he touched their lives.
Reading through some of the messages online, it's been so touching. For some people, his music was a source of comfort. For others, it was a source of inspiration. And for so many, it was just the soundtrack to their lives.
And those stories, those memories, those are what will keep his legacy alive. As we're talking about all this, it really makes you think, when you think about his career, the tributes, all the emotion that's pouring out, what's the biggest takeaway for you?
I think what's really fascinating to me is how this goes beyond just the music. It kind of forces us to confront our own relationship with art, with the artists that we admire.
I like that. Tell me more.
Well, we often put celebrities on a pedestal.
Yeah.
But Wheesung's passing is such a good reminder that behind the fame, behind the talent, it's a real person, a person with their own struggles, with their own vulnerabilities.
It's so easy to forget that amidst all the glitz and the glamour.
It is. And it makes you think about the impact that our support can have, whether it's buying an album, going to a concert, or even just, leaving a kind word online. These actions, however small they may seem, can really make a difference in an artist's life.
Yeah, they're human beings who pour their heart and soul into their work. They deserve our respect, our appreciation, not just for their talent, but for their humanity.
Absolutely. And, zooming out a bit, Wheesung's legacy reminds us of music's power to transcend cultural boundaries, to create a sense of unity and shared experience.
Yeah, his music connected with people across Asia and beyond. I think that speaks volumes about the universal language of music. It speaks to us no matter our background, our beliefs, or even the language we speak.
It's a reminder that art can connect us, bridge divides, and build community.
And in a world that often feels increasingly divided. That's a really powerful message I think we all need to hear. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thought you want to leave our listeners with?
I would say, think about the artists who have touched your life. What is it about their work that resonates with you? And how can you honor their contributions, not just in their absence, but while they're still creating and sharing their art with the world?
That's a great point. Let's not wait for a tragedy to appreciate the artists we love. Let's celebrate their work, support their endeavors, and let them know how much their music means to us.
Because ultimately, an artist's legacy is shaped not only by their creations, but by the connections they make with their audience.
Well said. To our listener, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Wheesung's life and legacy. His music may be silenced, but his impact will continue to echo for generations to come.